Revenge. Why do we have this? Why do we feel revenge? Or what is it all about? Why do we have this emotion? Well, revenge is an instinct. It is an emotional instinct that we have that came over from when we were fighting in the jungles for our lives. Our ancestors had this emotion called revenge. And what it was a self-defense mechanism. For example, a carnivorous animal like a lion or something would come and kill the child of Australopithecus afarensis or some shit. Some kind of pre-man creature. And then the animals would take revenge. They would feel it. They would want revenge. They would want to get back at whatever killed their young, their children. Of course, Australopithecus stood no chance against something like a lion. But as Homo, the genus Homo, evolved, eventually man became capable of taking revenge effectively. And what it allowed was, it allowed us to eliminate a potential threat to us, to our well-being, to our society, to our culture, whatever. By killing the lion, it no longer poses a threat. And so this is a form of natural selection. Revenge is passed down throughout the generations from these ancestors of ours all the way to today. Now, the question is, originally, we feel this revenge because it was a self-defense mechanism. It allowed us to survive. The ones who felt revenge were able to survive. The ones that never felt revenge died off. They were never able to pass on their genes, which inhibited these emotions of revenge. So we have it, and it's the result of natural selection. The question is it relevant in today's society? There are lots of traits that we possess that had some function in the past that is completely irrelevant and in fact hampers our lifestyle or our way of life. Something as simple as sweat, you know. Okay, we sweat under the armpits, but it smells bad. But in the past, you know, there was a useful trait. Today, you know, we just wear antiperspirant, and it keeps us dry, and that's more important. Anyway, the question is this a vestigial thing that we have? Revenge. Well, what is revenge? Well, I'll bring up some semi-good definition of it. Revenge is a harmful action against a person or group as a response to a real or perceived wrongdoing. The goal of revenge usually consists of forcing the perceived wrongdoer to suffer the same or greater pain than that which was originally inflicted. Okay, now the self-defense mechanism to eliminate the threat is only partially relevant today. The need for revenge, let's say somebody murders your child. We want to eliminate this threat, and that goes along with the revenge aspect. So in that sense, it is still relevant because that person could still be dangerous. And if we didn't have these emotions of revenge, then no one would ever want to punish them. Okay? Because the number one reason for why we punish anyone, whether you want to admit it or not, is out of a need from society, a need for vengeance, to make the person who did this to us, make them suffer in some way that's meaningful, so that it just makes us feel better. And that's it. Revenge only satisfies that emotion. It doesn't accomplish anything useful other than makes us feel better. Someone rapes a girl. Okay, we want this man to suffer for that because it'll make us feel better. But other than that, the rape has already took place. Nothing's going to change that. However, it's still important. So, when we're talking about punishing someone, then perhaps we should admit freely that we want to take revenge. That's the primary reason. We're angry and we want to feel better by making this person suffer. So, what I want from everyone is to tell me whether or not they feel like revenge is relevant, whether they feel like it has a place in today's society, or if we need to evolve and leave this perhaps vestigial trait of revenge behind us, because revenge can contrast with forgiveness. When you forgive someone, you do not necessarily condone the actions of the perpetrator, but you are accepting what has happened, and you are no longer you no longer feel like you want to take revenge. You don't want this person to suffer any more than he already has. You are willing to let the past go, so to speak. I guess that's kind of a brief description of forgiveness. So tell me, what means more to you, revenge or forgiveness? Is it possible to have both, or is when we punish, should it always be about revenge? One of the things is the death penalty, which whenever I hear arguments about the death penalty, it's always about deterrence, or we want to save money, which by the way is not true. Actually, the death penalty costs more than something like life imprisonment on average, or deterrence. And people pull out all kinds of statistics trying to determine whether or not death penalty actually deters criminals from doing violent crimes. Whether or not it does or not is not the point. The main reason for why anyone is in favor for the death penalty is because they want revenge. They want the person who killed or raped or whatever to suffer in some meaningful way so that they feel better. So, when you respond or when you comment, please, tell me your feelings on the death penalty. Whether you feel like revenge in that situation is appropriate, because that's all it serves. It makes us feel better, knowing that this criminal is suffering. Revenge comes up a lot in literature. This is one book that I have. Sophocles, one of the plays is Antigone, and it has an interesting quote that I want to close with. Basically, if you don't know what Antigone is about, her brother was killed in battle, but he was a traitor, and so they the king Creon, whatever his name is, refused to bury him and just left him out without proper burial rites. Personally, I couldn't care less, but Antigone cared, and she buried him properly and gave him proper rites. And she was sentenced to death for this. So this was her response to that. What law of the mighty gods have I transgressed? Why look to the heavens any more tormented as I am? Whom to call, what comrades now? Just think, my reverence only brands me for irreverence. Very well, if this is the pleasure of the gods, once I suffer, I will know that I was wrong. But if these men are wrong, let them suffer nothing worse than they met out to me, these masters of injustice. So we can see the revenge aspect there. If I was wrong, then I deserve to be punished, just because that would be the right thing to do. But if they're wrong, then they deserve to be punished an equal amount to what I had to suffer. I see revenge there, or need for vengeance. Revenge and vengeance, by the way, are synonyms of the same thing. I know I wanted to say some more about this, but I can't remember, so maybe I'll make another part or something if I can remember. Okay, thank you.